In this video, we're going to look at the VLookup and HLookup functions in Google Sheets. So when we have a big data table, it's often helpful to be able to search through it using code rather than having to scroll through it. Now, we happen to have a nicely formatted table here in that all of our Super Bowl winners are listed by the year in which they won. But there's no rule that says that things have to be in a nice, neat order when we're working through it. So one thing that we might want to do is ask our computer program to search for something based on some condition. So let's do a vertical lookup first. So we're going to type in VLookup, and the tooltip is going to pop up, and we see that there are a couple of conditions that go into, or a couple of parameters that go into the VLookup method. The first thing is the search key. That's the thing that you're looking for. So perhaps I'm really interested in the 2005 Super Bowl. I might search for 2005. Now, the range is going to be the area in which I look. That's going to be this whole big table here, down to, and I'll just do G to make it easy. Now, the very important thing to keep in mind when you're using a VLookup is that you can only search for keys in this leftmost column of your range. So it's very important that the thing you are looking for is contained in that leftmost column. So I can only search based on year with a VLookup. Index match is a way to get around that. But for right now, let's focus on VLookup. So right now we're saying I'm looking for the year 2005 in this range. The next thing is index. What is it that you want to find from that year? Well, perhaps I want to know who the winner was. Now, the way that I indicate what I want to see, you can notice in the example down here is there's a number in place, is how many columns over from my search key would the answer be. So if I wanted to know the winner of the 2005 Super Bowl, I would have to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots. So let's put in the number 5 and see what happens. Gives me 35. Now that's strange. If we go to 2005, we notice that 35 is, well, that's nothing really. That's certainly not New England. It's not 25. Not really sure what that is. So let's see what might be going wrong here. Why don't we try changing this number first of all? Make it 6. Then all of a sudden we have Green Bay. Well, that also doesn't look right. Now, there's a problem that we're running into, and the problem is that there's an optional parameter for VLookup. So this last thing that we see here is an isSorted parameter, and it's written with square brackets around it, meaning that's optional. You don't need to state a parameter here. But if we read the description, it says it indicates whether the column to be searched, so the first one, is sorted, in which case the closest matched for the search key will be returned. Now, even though this is optional, I highly encourage you to always put an option in because Google Sheets gets a little bit confused when you leave this blank. So we got 35, which if we scroll through these numbers, appears here in 1997. Now, 1997 does not look like 2005. You would think that maybe the first thing would come up or 2005 would come up, but for whatever reason, this is the row that came up. So what we're going to do is let's just say false. The data is not in sorted order, and see what we get now. New England. Well, let's see. In 2005, the winner was New England. That is the 6th column, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's just double check since New England is in there so much. If we go to the 5th column, so that's not going to give us the winner, that'll give us the score. We expect to see 21. Let's see if that comes up. And it does. So the vertical lookup, the item you're looking for, the information you're looking for, the range that you're going to look for, with the leftmost column being the column you're going to look in, and then the index of the place that you want to go. Now, that is a vertical lookup. A horizontal lookup, or an HLookup, is the same thing, only we're looking across a row instead of across a column. let's do an HLookup. Lookup. And in this case, perhaps I want to find a winner. So I might type winner this time. And here, I'm going to select this whole category as my range. Whoops. I got out of my formula there. So I'll put comma. And for my range, I'm going to do this whole big table again, down to just G. But what's going to happen here is instead of looking vertically down this first column, I'm going to look horizontally across this first row. So again, I want the winner. I'm going to search for that title, the winner column. And now for my index, it's going to be how many rows down I want to go. Well, if I want to go to 2005, and we're currently in 2017, I'm going to have to go 12 down. But I'm going to have a problem here. Let's put 12, and then we're also going to put false, just because it's good to always have a default in there. Tells me it's Indianapolis. Now, if we look down the winner column, Indianapolis is for 2007. So there's two issues we have. First, even though the difference between 2017 and 2005 is 12, both of them are included, so there's actually 13 entries. But the second thing is this first header row was also included in my range, so I need to account for that. So really what I want to do is instead of going down 12 rows, I want to go down 14 rows. And then I end up with New England again. So for an HLookup, I'm looking across the first row until I find the thing I'm looking for. And then I say how far to go down. And for a vertical lookup, I look down a column until I find the thing I want, and I say how far to go over. Now, I hard-coded information in here. I hard-coded in the year 2005, and I also hard-coded in the index. But we can also automate this. So for example, if I were to say the year I want is 2005, instead of typing in 2005, I could change this to be I2, that cell. Same thing down here. Instead of typing 14, I could actually do 2019 minus whatever is in I2. Remember, I'm putting 2019 to account for the header row and the fact that 2017 counts as a place. Now, those still work, but now if I change my year to, say, 2012, these will update accordingly as well and give me the 2012 winner. So that is a quick introduction to VLookup and HLookup. Very useful functions when you're trying to find information in a table.